Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to be going through your Thursday math warm up. And today we are looking at decimal numbers. And we've been given 5 decimal numbers, and they are written in standard form. So that's kind of like the normal way that we typically see numbers written. But we are going to write them in expanded form. So expanded form is kind of like you're stretching that number out so that you can see the value of each of the digits in that number based on its place value. So in your math warm-up slides, you are actually given a little visual in that slide that shows you, it's like a place value chart for decimal numbers. So showing those whole number place values as well as the decimal place values. And looking at your slide, we actually have an example of how to write a decimal number in expanded form. So our first number here is 856 and, remember you say and for the decimal, we have 856 and 14 hundredths. When you're reading the decimal of a number, you read after that decimal point the number kind of like you normally would. So I see 14. And then you say the place value of your last digit. So my last digit here is in the hundredths place. So I read this as 856 and 14 hundredths. So again, you have a little place value chart in your math warm-up slide. And then some of you, I think I've uploaded in Google Classroom a place value chart as well, so you can always look back to that. And we gave you guys some when we were at school as well. So to write this number in expanded form, I have to write the value of each number based on its place value. So first, I look at my whole number, and my digit 8 right here is in the hundredths, or sorry, not the hundredths, it's in the hundreds place because it's in a whole number place value. So if I have an 8 in the hundreds place, that means that I have 8 hundreds. And so to write that in expanded form, I would write 800. Then I write a plus sign to show that I'm adding all of these numbers based on their place value together to get my standard form of my number. Next, I'm going to look at my tens place, and you'll notice we're going from larger to smaller place values. And in my tens place, I have a digit 5. So that means I have 5 tens, and 5 tens is equal to 50. So that's why 50 is written next. Then I keep moving to the right with my place values. So remember, as I'm moving to the right, the value of the place value in the digits, it's getting 10 times smaller. All right, so next I am in my ones place, and I have a 6 in my ones place. So that means I have 6 ones, which is just equal to 6. So then I write 6 here. So far we have 800 plus 50 plus 6. Now we get into our decimal place values. And first I'm going to look in my tenths place right here. And I see that I have a 1 in my tenths place, which means I have 1/10. So I write 1/10. And to write that, I write a 0, my decimal point, and then 1/10. So I have that 1 in the tenths place. My final place value in my number that I have here for number 1 is my hundredths place. And in my hundredths place, I have the digit 4. So that means I have 4 hundredths. So to write that in expanded form, I write 0, my decimal point, I'm not looking at my tenths place, so there's a 0 in that spot. And then I just put my 4 in my hundredths place since I have 4 hundredths. So this is how I would write 856 and 14 hundredths in expanded form. So seeing the value of those digits, based on the place value. So we have 800 plus 50 plus 6 plus 1/10 plus 4 hundredths. And together that gives us 856 and 14 hundredths. I'm going to do one more with you, and then you can do the last 3 on your own. Number 2, we have 32 and 7 hundredths, and that is my standard form of my number. So to write it in expanded form, I need to look at each place value and what the digit is in that place value. And so really what that digit represents. So first I'm going to start in my largest place value, which happens to be the tens place. And in my tens place I have a 3. So that means I have 3 tens, and 3 tens is equal to 30. I feel like my pen's not showing up very well, so I'm going to switch to a different color. All right, so I said we have 3 tens, so that means that we have 30. Then I'm going to write my plus sign, and then I'm going to look at my next place value. So next is my ones place, and in my ones place I have the digit 2. So that means I have 2 ones, and 2 ones is equal to 2. So I'm going to write a 2. And then I'm going to write another plus sign. Next, I'm going to look at my tenths place, but I don't have anything in the tenths place. I just have a 0. So when that happens, I'm not going to write anything for the tenths place because there's nothing there. It's just a 0. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over to my hundredths place. And in my hundredths place, I have the digit 7. So that means I have 7 hundredths. So I'm going to write that decimal. So I write 0 and then to write 7 hundredths, I write 0, 7. So 32 and 7 hundredths, this is my standard form. And to write it in expanded form, it is 30 plus 2 plus 7 hundredths. And that just shows me the value of my digits in my standard form of my number. All right, so now I want you to go ahead and do 3, 4, and 5 all on your own, but you can look at the examples that we've done together to help you with those, as well as look at the decimal place value chart to help you as well. Make sure if you have questions, you are letting me or one of your other math teachers know. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.